All right, good evening, everybody. Drew, aka Catching Rockets here. Um, Tonight, I'm in like a chill mood, so this is going to be like a much more chill stream. Um, we're going to do things a little bit differently tonight. First, I'm going to just go over trades from Friday. Um, and then I want to do like kind of a deep dive on SPY because I see a nice setup for calls. And then after that, I just have a couple trades that I found setups for. And then I'll take requests. What's up, Ethan? If you guys could, and hopefully people listen, I don't know that many will, but if you can ask for your requests when I say that I'm ready to take requests, I would appreciate that. So I don't have to scroll up through like 50 chat messages trying to look for people's requests. What's up, Lucas? Welcome. All right, so we'll start off. The only trade that actually like triggered on Friday fortunately worked out. What's up, Hef? And that was Apple. Calls over 210.32 and then first trim 211.30. And that's literally on the very first like 5 minute, or sorry, yeah, first, I don't know, 5 to 15 minutes it played out. And then after that sold off. I'm kind of surprised that it played out because there was news that came out and everything just dumped and went completely against, any TA that I could have seen. And actually, with that said, somebody mentioned to me that they went in on calls on AVGO, and I'm like, based on what? Like, I know I said it was going to go up 100 points, but there was criteria, right? So if we're looking at AVGO, oh wait, I can't do this because I now have new trades for this. But our play was, where is it? Over 1737 and 20 cents to take calls. And so if we open below that price or even above that price, like you're waiting for, if we open below, you want price to come up to that level, cross it, and then you would enter into calls. If we open above it, you hope that price comes down to that, breaks through that level, and then goes back up through it, and then that's where you would enter calls. Or comes down to that level and bounces, and you would take calls on the bounce on that level. But you don't just randomly enter a trade like in space, like, or at least not based on my technical analysis, because I'm saying to enter at a specific price. And if you just go, oh, he said calls on AVGO, and just enter at any random price, like you're gonna get clapped. That's not how we trade. So anyway, we will move along. So next we're gonna be doing like kind of a deep dive on SPY. I will say on Friday, I had mentioned this was the zone I was looking for a bounce. It tried. Again, it would have been much nicer if we got down to here, but it did try to bounce from this area. But really choppy day. I'm sure if you tried to take calls on SPY, which I hope nobody did, like you could see right off the get-go, it just was not a good day to trade. At least not for SPY. I think there's, some of our NASDAQ stocks had a good like sell-off if you took puts, but SPY was just choppy kind of all day. Nothing really good as far as setups. Anyway, I'm going to delete all of my drawings from here and we'll start over fresh. And again, this is just going to be kind of chill. And we will just figure things out as we go. I will say, so SPY, let's see. Let me start down here. I'm going to have to bring everything up onto the screen for you guys to see, but with SPY, we have full send ups on several time frames. These are the ones here that are more interesting for me. Basically, I don't want to like explain the indicator, but you want it to trigger in this green zone and these are triggering like even outside of the box completely. But then on our higher time frames, this one's pretty close to the green box, and then our higher time frames down here, which are going to be bigger moves, they're triggering right in the green box. So looking good for that. The other thing, if we look at the clouds on SPY, and then not for the purpose of you guys being able to use these, but hopefully you're starting to understand how these work. But we're about to break, hopefully, this 545.22 level. And once that happens, there's a chance that we come back and retest it and run, or we just run straight from there. Nice, Robinhood. Yeah, Rob, I was super excited about it, and it's a big bummer, but, what can you do? We play what we get, you know. But so anyway, SPY is looking very juicy over, we'll say 5.45 and 30 cents. Again, ideally, we would like to break this and retest it and then enter calls. But just a break of this might be good enough to send it, and we might not even get a retest. Yeah, we'll always find new ones. We always will. So anyway, let's take a deep look at SPY here. I said 544. Sorry. 545.30. And even before I came, I mean, this lines up pretty perfect with where I would want to be in calls, so that's good. I'll try to zoom in here to give you guys a better picture. For me, entering calls, I want to be above this wick on this candle here, and I want to be above this wick on this candle here. And once we break through this, we have a nice skinny belly all the way up to about... dude, why is my dog jumping on my lap right now? Say hi, everybody. This is Toby. This is Squeaky Toy Dog. Go. All right. He thought the stream was so chill that he was going to come and join us. But yeah, so calls just right off the bat without really like looking at any indicators or anything. My first trim level would be here. And if you want to be safer, you would hop out right there. Just a few cents below. So really not a big deal. That said, TPO. This is Friday. We've got a tiny bit of single prints. Yeah. So this would change my entry a little bit. 45.65. Okay. So TPO changes things a little bit. It doesn't change where I would close my first trim, but it does change my entry a little bit. So let's see. I guess this is also doable. Okay. Yeah, he's a little silky terrier. Billionaire, nice try. I will not be looking up Hawk into a crazy. Um, but Billionaire, if you find her, like, send her over, okay? Um, okay, let me. All right, so there's a few setups I'm interested in right off the bat. Sorry for the silence while I'm looking at this stuff, but it's requiring concentration. So for SPY, there's a few things that I would like to see happen. I'm trying to figure out the best way to get this on the screen, but I guess this will have to do. Um, I wouldn't be particularly excited about this, but we'll just throw it on here just in case. Uh, I'm generally not a like bull bear scenario kind of person. Um, I like to see where I think price is going to go. So for tomorrow, I'm pretty bullish on SPY, but just in case, we'll throw some put levels. We're not going to put a lot, just a few. Okay. For tomorrow on SPY, I'm looking for a few scenarios. The first one would be if price comes down to these single prints. I would be taking calls to about here. You could take a trim somewhere. I'll just throw it there roughly. So if we bounce from these single prints, you would take your first trim, 544, 47-ish, give or take. Ultimate price target is going to be this 545.60 level. From here, there is a chance that we come back down. If we happen to break above, you can get into calls. Even better would be if we retest this level after we have 3 5-minute candles close above, retest, go long, or take calls. Our first trim level would be 546.90. Second trim, 547.64. And then finally, we would be looking for to close at 549.92-ish. I don't really think this is doable in one day, but if we break above this, we are going to go higher. We just have to see how, the day kind of plays out from there. So that would be the main scenarios that I'm looking for upside. For me, my favorite setup would be if we break above this 545.65 level, retest, and take calls. If we happen to break the single prints here to the downside, then you can either take puts on the break, or preferably 3 5-minute candles close and then get a retest. And when I say 3 5-minute candles closing, you want it to close below this level. And you don't want a bunch of candles wicking through. You want clean closes below this level. And then after you get 3 5-minute candles, I mean, it could take, 45 minutes before you get a retest, and that's fine, but that's where you would enter short, when you get the retest of the level and then short. poke, it doesn't really mean too much. It's a lot to explain, but it's showing bid and ask, but you can't distinguish like bid as being buys or ask being buys and bid being sells, because it could be limit orders or market orders. And so both can look like buys and both can look like sells. So anybody have any questions on SPY? So the single print levels, this one here at the bottom for entering puts would be if we break 543 and 2 cents. We can just say 543 to make it simple. If we're looking for a bounce here, it's 543 and 20 cents that we would need to break above. And then the single prints on the upside, 545 and 60 cents, and then 545 and 65 cents. So these ones are pretty close. Yeah. Anybody have any questions there? Hopefully you guys couldn't hear me swallowing, but oh, is the market like actually move? Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, it's dumping.
Yeah, this is not good for any bullish scenarios. I mean, hopefully that just means that we get this entry here on SPY. ES dumping. Wow. I mean, this is not too terribly surprising, and there's some single prints here on ES. They might get a bounce here, but not too terribly surprising. We're kind of at the top, you know. So really quick, I went over Apple already from Friday. That one was the only trade that triggered and the only trade that was a win, but that's not a bad thing. AVGO. Oh, I can't show it again. This one, our trigger was where is it? $17.37 and 20 cents. And we ended up opening below that and selling off pretty hard. Oh, sorry, $17.37 and 20 cents. Good job, Hef. No trigger. AMAT, same thing. Kind of a bummer. This was our trigger for calls. It would have been great. There is actually like a small play set up here for longs, but there was just a few like inconsistencies that weren't lining up, and so I'm not including it for tomorrow. And actually, like right now with the way the market's selling off, I wouldn't be surprised if it just if we gap down again. Coin, unfortunately. Sorry, let me go to a higher time frame. Really rough. Like our puts below 233.95, we would have sold all the way off, you know, down to the doable level, and caught over a 10-point move on coin. But it is what it is. Just a bummer that we opened so far below it. And never looked back, you know. So it is what it is. Again, sorry, like I'm I don't know if you guys can tell, but my energy level is pretty so that's why I said it's going to be kind of a chill stream for tomorrow. And again, I'm kind of questioning if this is even doable anymore. But on Apple, I'm looking for calls over 207 and 50 cents. First trim would be 208.80 cents. Second trim 209.63, and finally close your calls at 210 and 82 cents. And then the only other trade that I have for tomorrow is AVGO. And that's going to be, and I really hope that this plays out this time. Like maybe we sell off overnight and then come, open and bounce and cross through these levels. But my entry 1653. Take calls above that. First trim 1668. Second trim 1675 and 97 cents. Third trim 1688 and 51 cents. Fourth trim 1699 and 73 cents. Fifth trim 1707 and 66 cents. And close calls 1714 and 92 cents. Andrew Chow, that's not a dumb question. So basically, if you take multiple contracts, like let's say you buy 6 contracts, what happens is we enter long here, right? And our price target for our first, or we'll just say our entire target is this range here, right? But our first trim level is going to be here. And so based on that, we need to be risking $1 to make 2 minimum. So based on that, you could put your stop loss on this at 16.45 and 66 cents. And you're risking $1 to, or every dollar that you risk, you would double if it goes the correct way. What happens is when we hit this first trim level, you would sell 1 contract. So you're locking in profit. And once you do that, then your profit target becomes the second trim level, which is 1676 and 20 cents. And from here, you actually move your stop loss to break even. So, sorry, it looks wonky because anyway, so now my stop loss would be here. So I'm not losing money. But I'm hoping price goes higher and I'm able to lock in more profit. If I hit my second trim, then my profit target would move to my third trim. And so I would sell 1 contract at the second trim. And then after that happens, my stop loss now would become the first trim level, right? And so on and so forth. Move up to the 4th trim, stop loss becomes second trim. And all we're doing is just making sure that we're securing profits while trying to achieve the higher price targets. Okay? So hopefully that answers that question. So those are the 2 setups I have for tomorrow, Apple and AVGO. Give me 1 second here. Bro. Oh, I'm on the wrong. As far as Apple making a new high, I mean, anything's possible. When you're you just have to look like historically, like I don't really know how to put this into perspective for people. But I was like watching a YouTube video the other day and this guy, some advertisement came on, right? And the guy was talking about Nvidia. Oops. And he says, like, I don't remember exactly, but it up like 1,000%. And I don't remember the time frame that he gave. And then he specifically said, like, this is not where you you hop in, whatever. This is not where you buy calls. This is not where you buy shares. This is not where you go long. Yeah, I think it was like the last year he was saying it's up like 1,000% or something. I didn't really pay attention to the specific like time frame that he was talking about, but the message was what was important, which is this is not where you go, hey, like it's been flying, so since it's flying, let me hop in long. This is where you start thinking about, well, you don't want to really time the top, but this is where you want to start looking at being short or being in puts. Yeah. Take profit, something like that. Like if you have, whatever, 1,000 shares, take profit on 500 of them or whatever, like this is not where we want to buy more. This is where you want to close. And people talk about this, and then people like, I don't know, like their mindset just goes out the window. And like, this is, if you had the opportunity, this is where you buy. If you had the opportunity, this is where you buy. And if you had the opportunity, this is where you buy. Right? I know that I can go to a lower time frame and I can find a setup right here where I would buy calls or shares. I can see that there's a retest like right here, basically. But anyway, if you, even on this weekly time frame, like this here is a bull flag, right? It's not going to be the cleanest bull flag in the world, but it is a bull flag. Right? So like this is where you look to buy. And if you know how bull flags work, so this is a bull flag on weekly candles. And a bull flag becomes invalidated if it breaks through the 50% fib as it's pulling back down. That would invalidate this as a bull flag. When you take a trade on a bull flag, I don't know if you can see this, but the 628 or 0.628 to 0.618 level is considered the golden pocket. So if you took calls in this range, whatever, a few months out, blah, 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 based on recognizing that this was a bull flag, and you took calls in the golden pocket, yeah, you had a little bit of a drawdown, but you get paid. And most retail traders, they're looking to enter when you break the bull flag. And the way that Shorty taught me to trade them is you try to catch it when it taps the bottom of the flag. A little bit hard to determine where the bottom is, but golden pocket's generally a good level to be long or short, bull flag, bear flag. And if you entered here, then obviously you made more money than if you entered here. But even if you did enter on the break of this flag, your first trim level is going to be the 272 fib. Your second trim is going to be the 618 fib. And your third trim would be the 786 level. And then if you go back and you look historically on bull flags, bear flags, whatever, 272 level, generally, I don't have like a percentage for you, but I would say probably like 65 to 70% of the time, this level will get hit. The 618 level is much less likely to get hit. It probably happens like, I don't know, 40% of the time. 786 level, way less likely to get hit. And so once you reach these levels is where you start thinking about, wow, like we're probably getting fairly close to the top. These levels, sometimes they will get hit on bull flags and bear flags, but it's just very rare. I wouldn't be surprised if we're close to the top, if not at the top here right now, at least for a short term. I'm basically bullish until earnings. I'm sorry, earnings until elections, and after elections, I'm probably going to be getting pretty bearish, just based on historical data and based on the fact that I think right now they're keeping the market propped up. Like for President Biden, if you're trying to win the elections, it's pretty hard to win the elections if the stock market is dumping while you're in office. So I think they're doing everything they can to keep this bullish scenario. And after the elections are over, you can only serve 2 terms. He can let it dump. It doesn't really matter, right? Worst thing that could happen at that point is he could be impeached, but that's not very likely, right? He would have to do something pretty bad to get impeached. So, anyway, I guess one more little thing on this, what I was talking about. You want to think about this like when you go to the store, whatever, clothes shopping, grocery store, like you're not like, oh, let me buy, like I need an apple. They were on sale last week for $1 and today they're $10. Like I should load up on apples today, right? They're $10 an apple. No, you want to buy them when they're $1, right? And I don't know what happens in people's minds. I guess it's the FOMO thing. Like, oh, apples flew up to $10. Like maybe if I buy a bunch today, I can sell them next week for $20. No, you buy them when they're cheap. Sell high, buy low, not inverse. Buy high, you're going to get clapped. You're not going to sell them for $20. So, it always just kind of like, what's the word? Like every time I do one of these videos, there's always somebody that's like, hey, can you look at this? It has earnings tomorrow. And I'm like, why? Like, why are you interested in a news event? Like, you're literally just gambling. You might as well, you're like, way easier is just go to the casino, take all of that money that you want to gamble, put it on red or black, let them spin the roulette wheel, and either you walk away with a bag or you walk away with nothing. But like trading, that's not the place for it. It's just going to take longer and it's going to be more painful. So at least if you go to the casino, it's either like a quick rip off of the Band-Aid or a quick bag. Like it's one or the other, and you can walk out of there either happy or sad, and it'll be done, in a few seconds versus, torturing yourself buying stuff at the top, hoping that you're going to make money. So anytime, like you see, even just from here to here, like this is just not, it's an 84% move. Like this is not the time to talk about buying calls. And with that said, I mean, you could talk about buying calls based on the fact that we've had a little bit of a pullback, but it's definitely not the time to be considering shares. And anytime you guys, anytime that you guys are asking me, about a stock that's just absolutely ripped up or like had some kind of news event and it's gone up like 100% over a day, like there's just nothing to look at. You guys got to get rid of the FOMO mentality. Okay. Oh, sorry. Good question, Devin. I didn't mention that. For Apple, it's going to be a day trade. And for AVGO, swing trade, you want to take contracts a minimum of 4 days out. And actually, I mean, that's the earliest contracts you can buy on AVGO anyway. So, But AVGO is capable of doing this in one day. Like we could make this full move in one day. So very, very doable for AVGO. Okay. Let me start going over the requests here. Hopefully the conversation about FOMO helps you guys out and helps you stop like thinking about, like, you hear news. Once you've heard news, it's already too late. Like, you miss the play. So you need to catch things before the news happens. And believe it or not, when Shorty, my mentor, first started teaching me this stuff, I didn't really believe it. But you can see the news on the charts before it happens. You just have to happen to look at the right stock before the news happens and recognize, like, oh, it's about to rip. And I mean, I can prove it. Like, when I first started going over, actually, let's prove it right now, okay? When we first started doing this, right here, the 17th stock that we looked at was GME. This was basically a month ago, right? 521. And I said, and I know, I mean, I don't remember my exact verbiage, but I know it was something to, this is about to absolutely rocket. And that's not, no, Rob, I really appreciate what you're doing. That's perfect. You can always be like the last person to send a chat message with that. It's not, I wouldn't even consider it spam. I actually really appreciate it because, it just helps me and makes everything easier to keep track of. And I really appreciate that. So if we go back and look at GME, and if you guys pay attention, when I talk about a stock, it's not very often that I say, this is going to rocket, or this is going to absolutely rip faces, or this is going to slap. Like, I just don't use those words very often because I don't see a setup very often. Right. And, or I don't see a setup that looks like it's just going to rip faces all that often. Where was I going with this? But it doesn't matter. Let's just look back and see. This was, I know that we had this move up, so like there was obviously some interest in GME before this happened. This is the 10th. Where did I call it out? Was it really here? Because I feel, oh, I know what it is. I didn't put it on my list because somebody did it as a request. You guys are just going to have to take my word for it, but somebody asked as a request for me to look at GME, and it was back here. I believe it was on like Wednesday the 8th. And when we looked at this, I don't remember what time frame I was on, but I was like, oh, this is a bull flag. And it's actually like a bull pennant, but whatever, it doesn't matter. And I was like, this is absolutely going to rip. And it was on like Wednesday when I said this. And I said, if we break this, like, you want to take, and I don't remember how many, but I said, like, take swing trades, right? And so this level got broken, and we had like a little move up, and then the very next day a little move up, and I said, like, this is going to absolutely rip faces. And then right here is where, like when the market was closed, Roaring Kitty posted that image of the dude like sitting forward in his chair with his phone or whatever it was, and that was it, right? And then we shoot up to 64.83. I think it went higher like after hours, but I could be wrong. I feel like it went to 72 or something like that. But anyway, doesn't even matter. We're talking, like over 40 point move. 45-point move. And so my point is I was able to recognize before a news event that this was about to rip faces. And it's not luck. I guarantee, like, you can go back and rewatch the video where I covered this. It was right around, it was a live video, like May 8th, May 7th, somewhere right around here, that I covered this. And again, it's not luck. The setup is there, and you can catch these trades if you just happen to look at the right stock, before a move happens. And I even remember when the person requested GME, I'm like, oh, seriously, like a meme stock? Like, you're wasting my time. And I pull up the chart and I'm like, oh, wow, this is actually about to rip. And I was actually like pretty surprised and shocked. And I was kind of on board at that point. So I guess the moral of the story is you want to look for these things before they happen. And you don't want to think about taking, calls or longs or whatever after news comes out. I mean, here we're looking at, daily candles. I guess, like if you, I mean, honestly, like if I go to a lower time frame, actually, let me do this. Let's go to here and let's go to a lower time frame. Now, if you're, did I cut off part of what I wanted to see? How weird. I did. Sorry, let me do this again. So, if you happened to, let's just say, where did the market open? 2634, right? And we went up to 36. So by the time you get alerted to this, maybe you get in the trade, I don't know, here, and you're lucky and it runs up. I don't know too many people that are going to be up this much and go, like, let me let this trade go red, right? And so with that said, like, you're going to not catch this. But maybe, FOMO happens the next day and you go, oh, wow, like, we opened way up here. Let me grab calls. You're done. Like, you just got completely cooked. Even possibly the same thing on this day, like the run up starts happening and you're like, oh, let me grab calls here, right? And then you're cooked. And then you close it because you're down so much on the position. And then the next day it skyrockets. Like playing news, FOMOing in, it's just not the way to do it. Anyway, I'm going to stop harping on this. Let's start going over you guys' requests. WHR. Oops. Oh, Whirlpool. I mean, this is your no, this is good. Whirlpool. I thought they paid dividends, right? Yeah. No, this is a buy. I don't remember what price Shorty was looking to buy at, but um, does anybody remember what price he wanted? I mean, we can look it up. Let's just look it up. It's a buy. Like, no matter what, um, this is the quarterly bottom. The top of the quarterly bottom is at $90.27. And basically, the way quarterly bottoms work is if we lose 68.48, they're going bankrupt. They're going out of business. Um, so the the likelihood of a company like Whirlpool that's been around, I don't even know, over 100 years, I would guess, going out of business is very, very slim. So there, it's a buy. Why do I have messages? Um, no, I want to pull up the. Let's see. Okay, here's the shares.
He did not add it to um his doc.
Bummer.
Oh wait, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
6.9.
90.43.
Yeah.
We're on the same page. It's a buy right now. Um, thank you, IK. I appreciate that. So, um, I don't know what you're looking for as far as Whirlpool is concerned, but this is where you buy shares. As far as if you're looking for an option trade, um, option. Um, the issue is finding an entry. I guess this is good. We'll call it 91. And my first trim would be right here. Again, hopefully you guys can see like what I'm looking at. I know it's probably a little bit harder, but these wicks here, so support turn into resistance. That's where I would close, or that's where I would trim, right? And then my next trim level, right here at the top of the shelf. And I would be all out here. And again, so this would be for like a short term, I mean, it needs to be a swing trade, probably a couple of weeks out. If you're looking for leaps, I mean, this is just now the place to buy them. And with that said, once we get into this area here, we're going to get some pretty quick moves to the upside. 96 to about 107. Okay. You can stock with hope. Absolutely. You can use anchored volume profile. Um, I just like this because I'm able to determine how much information I want on the screen, you know, if that makes sense. So, yeah, but we've got a lot of room for upside on Whirlpool. You know, same thing here. You have a nice skinny belly through this area right here, for upside. And then the best part is they pay dividends. So if you buy shares on this, you know, and drip your dividends back into your investment, you put this in a Roth IRA. Um, you know, it's a long-term hold. We're coming back up. Like, this is a company that, you know, even if the U.S. is struggling, even if the economy is struggling, like, yeah, price might go lower, but you'll recoup it. Like, they're not gonna go out of business. They're not gonna close. Um, so, I mean, of course, there is a possibility, but it's a good, solid company that's worth investing in, and, you know, lower chance that they would go out of business. Like, if we had a depression or a recession, you know, and you ask me, do I think Whirlpool's more likely to go out of business during that time, or Palantir, of course, Palantir, PLTR, or whatever. You know, so this is a company that you can get behind, you know, for longer term dividends, creating generational wealth, stuff like that. So this is a buy. That's it. Next one is Alta. This is going to be good as far as like right through here. You kind of want to be long. And again, that's at a glance. So yeah, longer term time frames. We're gonna get a little move up, a little pullback, and then it's gonna go probably to a newer high. Yeah, so even Rob, even when monthly bottoms are open, it's such a huge level, you know, like very hard to get through. Yeah, so he basically bounced. I mean, not quite off the monthly bottom, but pretty close, right? And now, so like I said, we should get a little move up and then back down and then up higher. I think our little move up might take us to like 392-ish. It might be 387-ish. Pull back to our monthly bottom and then go. So it would be helpful to know what people are looking for, like if you're looking for shares or options or whatever. But and also short term, long term. The So these two white lines I just drew, those would be where I would want my stop loss to be below. So hopefully that makes sense. Like, I don't want my stop loss at those lines, but we want them to be at least slightly below those lines. As long as we're above this POC here, I'm comfortable. It's kind of hard for me to get like a zoomed in view for you guys with all of this information on the screen. But let me try here. Right there, maybe. Yeah. So as long as we're over this POC, I'm going to be bullish. And this would be where I would want to be in calls or where I would want to be buying shares. And with that said, I'm talking like leaps far out. My stop loss would need to be below 74 or possibly even 68, just depending on how aggressive you want to be. I guess the thing is, I don't see like a short-term setup here. As far as for Alta, you're sorry, half short-term, you're asking for Alta? Oh no, you're talking about Tesla. Okay. Yeah, so Alta, for me, I would be looking more at longer term stuff. Leaps, longer term calls, nothing short term here. We're at a very good level to buy shares, to buy calls. Like I said, leaps further out, 3-6 months out. And with that said, like my first target, and again, it's going to depend on how much risk you're taking. But this would be one of my first areas I would be considering trimming. But that it has to match, one risk to reward. Okay. My second level for trims, right about here. Third, right about there. And then my ultimate price target would be somewhere right around here. If we're able to break this and get into the skinny belly, we should be going to like 46-ish. So, and again, it just depends on how long you're willing to hold, right? Get over 55, we have another skinny belly up to 70. And then you just have to recognize, like, this is not going to be, straight up. We're going to chop. We're going to have pullbacks, so it could, you need time if you're looking for this big of a move, but it's all doable. Okay. All right. So Tesla, I already glanced at it. I didn't see anything like that I love. It definitely does not meet my criteria right now for a trade. We'll say that. The issue is like we're between the waves. It should be going to 200 eventually. Let's just say like 92 is a very doable price target, like short term. But it's not somewhere where I would want to be buying calls or shares or anything like that. And I mean, this just attests to what I'm saying. We're right here at like the daily mid. Right, is that the daily? Oh, 4-hour mid? What? Why is my 4-hour mid blue? That's really confusing. Yeah, thank you. I think that's the right color. There we go. Okay. So our 4-hour mid is where we're at. Our daily mid is 178. So basically, what I was saying, like when we tap the daily bottom, that's when you wanted to get in long, or get in calls, whatever. When we tap the daily top, that's where you wanted to close. And now we've come back to the daily mid and then bounce back up to the daily top again. And now we're kind of like between the mid and the top. And yeah, it's going to go higher, but it's just not a place where you want to be getting into a trade, if that makes sense. Like we're in between everything. And at least for the way that I trade, like I want to get the reversals. I don't want to trade in the momentum, right? What's this? 79? Yeah. So, I mean, this is where we wanted to get calls, right? The 4-hour bottom. Just looking at candlesticks, there is possibly like a setup. So you just take whatever side breaks, you know. It's starting to get tight. So, break above, take calls. Break below, take puts. I don't know if you guys caught on, but I am bullish on Tesla right now. So, I think like our first, and I'll show it over here so you guys can see what I'm looking at. But our first target is going to be right around there. And just for like, because of the psych level, I would say 192. But based on charts, I think we're hitting 192.20. But like, who really cares about the 20 cents, right? And then from there, I think we really need to hit 200 on Tesla. And then I think at least short term, I would be bearish once we tap 200. Okay. Yeah, Rob, I mean, your 1 to 3 week expiry, like if we break this in either direction, that's just where you would get in. But for me, like there's not like a super nice setup. Nothing super clean, but this is, you know, it's doable, it's possible. And I like the bull side, 92 and 200. Okay. MU. Sorry, I want to check something really quick. Buzz Lightyear, is that you? Sorry. Let me know if you're on.
Yeah, I'm trying to like update the list, but then I just realized they have to be active in the chat in order for them to show up in the participants.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Oh, I thought it was you asking for Tesla, but I see it now. Request Hef. Okay. MU. We'll take a look at that now. So Andrew, I can look over Disney. I didn't see a setup. I looked at it already. I would highly recommend that you look at the trades that I suggested, which is and Apple and AVGO. So Apple over 207 and 50 cents. You take calls to 208.80. AVGO is going to be expensive, but over 1653. First trim 1668. I've talked about this before, but I have very like strict criteria that I use for finding setups, and so when they trigger, they generally work out. When people ask for requests, most of them I've already looked at. I've looked at Tesla, I've looked at Netflix, I've looked at Disney. Every once in a while, I've looked at MU. Every once in a while, somebody will request something that I haven't looked at, and we might actually like see like a really nice setup. And if that's the case, I'll be like, oh, this looks really good. But generally, like for the most part, anything that you're going to think about asking for, Tesla, Disney, MU, like Snow, stuff that's pretty, common and obvious, I've already looked at it. I'm happy to look at it, but I've already looked at it and it didn't meet my criteria, which is very strict. I'll look at it and I'll tell you where I think it's going to go, but it's not something that I would put my stamp of approval on as far as taking a trade. So hopefully that makes sense. So MU, I know I already looked at MU. And they just had earnings, right? Like not too long ago. Oh no, they're having earnings. The 26th of June. Yeah, I mean, this is still what I'm looking at. Excuse me. So basically, we're at my call entry. Needs to be further out ish. Couple of weeks. 139.81 is where I would want to be in calls, and then a couple weeks out, we'll be coming up here somewhere. Okay. That's as in depth as I want to go on something that has earnings in 2 days, because there's just no point. I am bullish on their earnings, so hopefully that helps you out. No, it should not be over it. If we look at AVGO, unless something happened. Oh, wow, it did. Right. Where is... No, it's not. pre-market right now. It's at 1652.01. Okay, Comcast. Comcast needs a shorter ticker symbol. You guys want to hear something funny? Well, I'm going to tell you anyway, so it doesn't matter. But the other day I'm at work and I get like a notification that my internet's offline. And I'm like, what the hell? And at first I thought, oh, maybe my power's off. But like my wife wasn't home. You know, like when it gets hotter, like sometimes your power will cut out or whatever. And so I messaged my neighbor. I'm like, hey, like, is the power out? And he's like, no, our power is on. I was like, oh, okay, thanks, sorry. And then I checked my internet provider to see if there was outages in my area, and there was no outages. And I'm like, what the hell? What's going on? I was at work, I should mention. So then I had my kid like unplugging all of the hotspots and resetting the modem and everything. Dude, I forgot to pay my bill. Like, so like 1 month overdue. I mean, I guess that's bad, but like, it's $70. I'm like, I can afford to pay the bill. That's not an issue. I just forgot, overlooked it, and 1 month overdue. And I was literally like, I think I was planning on paying all my bills like tomorrow. So I would have been like, oops, I forgot to pay them, and I would have paid double, tomorrow. But they cut off my internet 1 month behind or whatever. I was like, wow, you guys don't mess around. End phase. There's no such thing as oversold. I'm trying to figure out what Chipotle. We should look at them because we did cover them last week. I'm not liking Comcast at all. They pay dividends. Okay, I mean, that's helpful. I don't know. Again, this is helpful if you guys, for requests, like if you're looking at shares or options. Um, for anything like this where we have it's a dividend stock, I'm just going to assume that it's shares because that's why I look at dividend stocks. And then also, I should say, okay, Ethan, I'll look at the option side, but I'm going to cover the share side first. Um, the sorry. when you're looking at like shares, long-term stuff, long-term holds, you have to think about the economy, and you have to think about what people are going to be, consuming. And a company like Comcast, which is telecommunications and um, internet provider, they dabble in TV or whatever. Like, this is not something that's going to be sustainable if we have like a depression or a recession, um, which I really think is where we're headed. Like, I think it's pretty unavoidable at this point. Um, no matter what the government's telling us, like, um, as far as I'm concerned, recession is 100% guaranteed, and a depression is a serious possibility. So, with that said, if I was looking to buy shares, which I wouldn't be just based on what I just said, but if I was, um, I would start building a position at like 36.50, and I would add my full position at 34.80 ish, give or take a few pennies. As far as options, um, there's nothing super sick. $38.50. You could be long over or take calls over 38.70. Um, it's still pretty sketchy. Like, you're gonna have resistance between 38.90 and 39. This would be about as high as I would be willing to take calls. Um, Realistically, I can't see a single reason other than the X date. Um, the X date might take this up to there, but it's like it's so choppy. I really just can't see a single reason to be in calls on this. I don't. Um, I wouldn't trade it, but if I had to, this is the setup I would look for. Okay. Um, all right. So is the next one Netflix?
Yes, sir.
I feel like we
I know
already
you've
talked
done
about
them.
this, right?
Yeah, and we've done them quite a bit.
I mean, we have already like just killed on trades on this, and right now it's just not in a place where you're looking to buy or sell. Really, let's see. Um, I think we should be making like a new higher high. So we're in the quarterly top. Um, and coming up to the 4 hour top. No worries, Ethan. Let me take a drink really quick here. I mean, this is fun to look at, right? All of our levels just absolutely slapped, and price should come here. And you can see price should come here is actually like a good spot to re-enter on a retest, long or calls. Right now, there's just no trade, right? If we're looking for a trade, I mean, I guess you could be looking at shorts here. This is a retest short. But I think we missed it, right? Like, I think what's really going to happen is we came up to here. We've had our pullback and our retest of this level where, excuse me, where they were accumulating, and we've bounced. And now they're probably going to go and make a new higher high. But you don't want to be getting in calls up here, right? I mean, this is the same thing that we've been talking about. I don't see a setup here. You could potentially short here, but I think you're going to get clapped because I really think we're going to move just a little bit higher. And taking calls here would be risky, and taking shorts here, you're probably going to get slapped as well. So there just really is not a setup on Netflix where we're sitting right now. Again, this retest of this level would have been great if you caught that, but we did not. I don't know. I would love to know why I drew that level. Oh, it's based on this. Yeah. So breaking over this, retesting, this is where you want to go long, and it would have been a very nice trade. You could have done it twice. Right. But yeah, there's no setup here on Netflix, and when I see one, I will tell you guys about it. INSP.
$5 billion market cap on it. It's healthcare.
Yeah. So just an FYI, no more requests after this. So we're going to look at INSP, we're going to look at CMG, and then we're going to look at ENPH, and that's going to be it, because I've been going for about an hour here, and I want to go spend some time with my family. Looks like they want to go lower on most time frames. It's our monthly bottom. And what are we looking for on INSP? Did you say that? Sorry.
He was not specific.
Okay. If you're looking for shares, we're close. There's no short here, and long is further out. Makes sense. Go, squeaky dog, go. Um, 146. Yep. So, if you're looking for shares, bro, chill. Thank you. This is where you want to start building a position. We already tapped it. Um, I wonder if they even have options. Do they have options? They do. The open interest is trash. Yeah. I'm not going to cover options on this since... Yeah, I'm on the West Coast, Robin, if you're asking me. Yeah, I'm not even going to entertain options on this because there's... the open interest is really horrible. I don't see a great setup either. I would be looking to get shares if I was interested in this company between 42 and 46. If we lose, say 37, I would be closing. I don't really love this. There's nothing great here, but we're at the monthly bottom almost. And this would be your buy zone for shares. Okay. CMG. Oh, Chipotle. I don't know why in my brain that didn't math. Dude, even they got clapped on that on Friday. Right?
Yeah, they have earnings or stock split soon too. They've been in the news a lot lately. I could see why 3,200. No wonder.
Yeah, I mean their stock has been crazy for a long time. I remember when it was like $1,300, and I'm like, dude, who buys one share for $1,300? Did this play out? Yeah, it did. Right? No, it didn't. You would have got wrecked. Yeah, you just stay away from this.
That's a sell the news event usually.
Yep.
Splits like that.
Yep.
But that is kind of like an insane split, so hey, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, 1389. I mean, 3189. I guess it's not a terrible spot for longs right now. But again, I don't see a reason. Like we have a news event in 2 days. If you were in calls from here, your bottom line is 31.89. So that's got to be your like die hard stop loss, which is pretty big. I guess it's not huge for like a $3,000 stock, but damn, they're doing a 50-to-1 split. That's crazy. Yeah, it's the same thing that we talked about for quite a while. Excuse me. Towards the beginning of the stream, like this is just not. This is not where you look to buy. This is FOMO. This is right before a news event. There's no reason. But if you were, it would be calls, I think. Depending on how you vibe, like this here could just be your massive bear flag, and they're going to get smacked, right? And if this is a bear flag, then price is coming to here. Okay. Don't love it. I don't see a setup.
I asked if he meant options.
I'm sorry, you cut out there.
Oh, I asked if he meant options or not. I'm just kind of assuming he means options. But
Yeah, he said somewhere he said options. I could have sworn.
Oh, you did?
I thought I saw it. Oh, I think you said it. Sorry.
Yeah, I just assumed, so I added it.
I was like, I read options. It was you. This is super ugly. Is this just from Friday that sent them down this low? Probably not. No, it's not. They have earnings or something. No, they did not. They have earnings on the 24th.
Tomorrow?
Oh, July 24th. I'm sorry. My bad.
Okay.
They're in a very bad spot.
Oh, he's still here. IK. Did you mean options or pairs?
This is a pretty do or die level. And if we lose that, we're probably coming to right around here. Yeah, 94. Phew. Good luck,
revenue.
buddy.
Revenue was like sliced in half the past year or two.
Yeah.
And they just went negative on net income this last earnings.
I would be willing. So normally when I make bets like this, I only am willing to bet one testicle, but I would be willing to bet two testicles that this is something that like influencers talk about. And so it has people hyped up about it. And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is something influencers probably cover, and they're probably bullish on it, and it looks pretty ugly. So if they're unable to hold this 105.40 level, what's going to happen is they're going to come down, retest, break this, retest, and come to here. Yeah, they might even go to 91. See, 91 was looking nicer. It's like where? Here. Yeah, right there. This is also doable. Right about there.
They're going through a lawsuit. Oh, wait,
Okay.
that's 2023. That's, I guess, why alleged securities fraud.
Yeah. What's up, NIT? I'm super bearish on this company, and they're probably going out of business. How's that? Yeah, it should go to 91. When we hit 91, if we lose that, we're going to 79. We'll just call it 80. And then if this little node here gets lost, they're going to like 84 or 34. I mean, there's some levels in there, but personally, I just would not be trying to trade this. Wouldn't be surprised to see that get hit. Okay. Wow, they barely, like... Yeah, you could do long dated puts. What's the... Let's look at the open interest. I think the only issue with long dated puts, if they go out of business, get delisted, you don't get paid, right?
Yeah, because you need someone to buy that option from you.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't even like long dated puts. Like really, the only way to trade this would be to short the company, which is harder to do. Like you have to call your broker, and I mean there is open interest, but seriously, like I would not be surprised. And I'm not trying to be like super negative. I just based on how the chart looks, and it would be great if somebody could confirm this, but I'm pretty sure this has to be like a stock that influencers talk about. It is. I know this is. So it's all like, speculative. They're doing solar, which is not like a new thing, right? Um, they're hit with a lawsuit. I'm pretty sure I've seen influencers talk about it, which is what gets people, um, pumped and hyped about it. And then a lot of retail traders go, oh, wow, like, it's sold off from 340 all the way down to 100. Like, we've got to bounce at some point, right? And they start talking about being oversold and whatever else. It just does not look good for this company. Like, without knowing the news, um, I'm sure you could hear and see that I was like very bearish based on the chart. And knowing that they're being sued just makes me even more bearish. And I wouldn't be surprised to see them go out of business. I could be wrong, but that's just what I see. Johnny, are you still here? If you answer, I'll go over PLTR. If you don't, I won't. Okay. This is 100% the last one. It's at a very important level. I can tell you that much. Very, very, very important level. Yep. They need to get over 24. Johnny, are you looking at calls, options, puts? Actually, I should just ask if you're looking at options. It doesn't really matter if you're looking at puts because you're not going to get them probably. Yeah, I don't think so. Things get a little bearish here. And from there, you would want to trim here and close probably right about there. So upside over 2406, you would take calls. 2464 is your first trim. Close at 2532. For bear side, below 2283 puts. First trim 2218. Close at $20.66. That's going to be it, guys. based on what the market's doing right now, things are not looking too hot. Oh, he bounced right in the single print zone, which is where I wanted to go long. Well, shoot. See that, guys? I just lost money because I'm busy talking with you. It's all good. I'll catch another one tomorrow. But this is my long zone here on NQ. And my short zone is up here. And my really short zone is up here. So, yeah. I mean, there's a chance they bounce it out of here for ES and NQ, which would be good for the market if you're bullish. But as of right now, stuff's probably going to be gapping down tomorrow. So hopefully some of the trades that we went over play out, and hopefully everybody makes some money tomorrow. Anyway, that'll do it for me. I'm trying to think when I'm going to be able to be live next week. Probably there's a chance I can go live Monday night. Tuesday, absolutely impossible. Wednesday, I might be able to go live. And then Thursday and Friday, I think, are impossible as well. But if I have a free moment and I can go over some trades, I will. If I don't, just know it's because I'm super busy. Yeah, that's going to do it. I'm going to go spend some time with my family. I think I'm going to go take a swim. Much love. Peace out. Hope you all kill it tomorrow. Take care. Bye. Oh, and thanks for your help, Rob.
Anytime, man.